Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. All right. So, on the previous stream, we were having some microphone issues, and I am hoping that these issues are resolved. And so I'm just going to speak and just presume that we've resolved the issues. As I speak here, it's showing a green microphone as if we're sort of getting volume. So I'm really just going to trust that right now. Hopefully, I don't find out after I've just recorded this and spoken for a while that we didn't get the recording, but I'm pretty sure that we were getting volume. I don't know what happened with that other stream. Um, I don't think you guys will have this link, so I might just be me speaking here, but I'm pretty sure I'm getting volume now. And so if I'm not getting volume here, then I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I'm just going to assume that I am getting some volume. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to this live here on Friday, August 2nd. If you are in North America, if you're somewhere far away watching this at a different time, then yeah, it might not be your Friday afternoon when you're watching this. So anyways, I'm going to talk about some things, just sort of flow with, yes, it works. Amazing. Thank you, Robin. I'm happy that you found this. I appreciate you guys letting me know. Yeah, I can see that I'm getting volume below. I think because I was going in and out of the Bluetooth. But anyways, happy it's working. So thanks for confirming that. So I'm going to roll on a topic that was just kind of coming through in this space for me this morning is why are we so afraid of freedom? I'm going to roll with that. First, I'm going to answer a couple questions, a couple sort of people's questions, which kind of segues into what we're going to be speaking about here. And then I'm just going to kind of roll on a topic. I think I'm going to put on a little bit of music and just kind of begin to flow and sort of speak on a topic because that's just what feels alive for me today. Because you know what's crazy is that the number one thing human beings are afraid of is freedom. Isn't that crazy that as human beings we want to feel, but it's something we're terrified of? And one thing that I've noticed that's become really interesting to me is I've moved on this path and, become just more alive, more unhinged, more just like, fuck, like let's just be ourselves so unapologetically that with a lot of people, there's like actually like a legitimate contraction that happens when they come in your space. And I think it's really confronting for people to feel the presence of other people really feeling alive. Not for everyone, but for a large majority of the population, it's really triggering and confronting to feel that people are so unapologetically themselves and are able to really, really hold in that space. Because I think it makes us feel so many different things that like we really, really feel our own closure when we're around other people that are really, really open. And I have the type of personality when I can feel people contracting, I like go harder into it because I want people to feel really, really uncomfortable. I have a sick mind and I just like to do that. But it's crazy how freedom is what we're most afraid of, right? It's what we all want in theory, but in actuality, when it comes to actually embodying freedom and experiencing the freedom of others at a really embodied level, we have for a lot of people this natural contraction, this natural like, ooh, like that doesn't feel good. Even if this person is like full of aliveness, like they're just fucking alive. They're just like, whew, like this is me. It's like we're like, oh, like that doesn't feel good. That's a crazy thing to me, but it is something that I've really, really noticed that is what people are the most afraid of. So I'm going to jam on that topic, but first I'm just going to answer a couple questions that people had asked me through my Instagram stories. So, and this first one's just really quick question, but the question was, Jamie, how do you uncord yourself from the past karmic relationship? Well, for starters, you're going to be in a karmic relationship as long as you have to. You're going to keep going back to the well of suffering as long as you need to, right? So, like in a karmic relationship, We're actively participating in our own suffering because we're somehow trying to like use this person as a way to turn and change the suffering. And we're like, if I could just overcome this somehow, if I can just overcome this, then the ego gets rewarded, right? Then all of a sudden, what that really means is that some aspect of our own personal work or our own sort of hero or heroine's journey, we don't have to participate in. We don't have to engage in. If we can, with this person, if we can overcome suffering, then like I'll be able to get that salvation. I'll be able to get it without having to do the hard thing, right? So what we're essentially doing in a karmic relationship is we're trying to find like deliverance and salvation without really having to walk the path, without really as an individual having to walk the gauntlet, right? Without having to walk the gauntlet, just maybe I can be delivered with this other human being. And so we go back to the well of suffering as many times as we need to. And so what's also happening is we're being catalyzed through a process. This person is excavating a certain amount of shadow from us that is necessary for ultimate deliverance of God. But we have to go through enough of this excavation process until we feel complete with the contract, right? This is why these relationships, you break up, you get back together, you're playing with the idea of breaking up kind of the whole time in the relationship, because in some aspect it's not quite right, that there's things that are really, really karmic here, but you're like, maybe I can reach the mountaintop. Maybe I can reach the mountaintop. And this becomes a real cosmic lesson that we have to learn is, maybe it shouldn't be this hard, right? And before we kind of pull away, we go through lessons that like love is really hard, right? We have to fight for love. We have to fight to be seen. So it's playing through this idea of like suffering to salvation, when actually suffering, really what it is just a form of stagnation. It's a form of us participating in our own stagnation. And so we try as many times as we have to in a karmic relationship until we're like, I think I'm ready to learn a different way. What that really means is I'm finally going to really, really listen to God. I'm finally really, really going to listen to God in a way that I've never been able to listen to God. And so when the contract is up, when it feels like something is available to us, when it feels like we're able to move in a different direction and basically like rewrite the blueprint for what we consider to be love, right? Before this blueprint, before the karmic relationship, we're like, there's always some portion of a contraction in a relationship. We can't find someone who can meet all of our needs, that we can't be blasted wide open a relationship, that love is really hard. So it's until we're ready to learn. And so it's until we've suffered enough, right? Until we've had enough suffering, learned what we feel we've needed to learn, and are finally ready to learn a different way. Then we start to go down a different path. So that's how we untangle and tether. And the thing is about these types of relationships is, what I've learned is there's always going to be a certain element of poetry, right? Think about this idea where you share a really powerful love relationship with someone, and in some lifetime you guys were perfect for each other, but you aren't able to make it work in this lifetime. There's a lot of sorrow. Like that's the type of shit you want to write poetry about. You want to make a movie about. You want to write a book about. And so I think what happens in these types of connections is there is a certain amount of everlasting sorrow with them, where you really have to learn love is not enough. Love is not enough. Love is just the beginning, right? And I think you really learn that you want all this energy and this passion and this chemistry, but there's a real practical element to love. There's a real practicality to love that is necessary, that your traumas blend and move with their traumas in a way where you can actually heal. In this karmic relationship, you reach a point where I don't think we're able to heal together, at least not at this iteration with where we are at personally in our own sort of spiritual evolution. And it's kind of like losing a limb, losing an aspect of your soul. It's what it feels like. And there is some everlasting sorrow with this connection. And what this really means is you can hold both. That there was amazing things about this relationship, potentially things you'll never be able to find in a lot of different ways in maybe the relationship that you eventually find and is the one that works out. But you also know that there were aspects of this relationship that you just weren't able to function in the 3D sort of realm. And it becomes a part of you like a scar, right? Like think about it like when you have someone in your life who passes, right? You're never going to completely get over it. And I think with these karmic relationships, you're never going to completely get over it. There's always going to be some aspect of a scar that is this form of kind of like this sweet sorrow and grief, right? It's like when you're out there, you're staring at a sunset, you feel a breeze, that person comes back into your mind, and you remember this dance that you guys had around the sun, and you cherish it, and you forever sort of miss this person in this iteration that was sort of like a shooting star. Like your relationship was sort of like a shooting star in the atmosphere, this real bright sort of light for a moment, right? But you weren't able to hold on to it, right? And so I think there is an element of this everlasting sorrow that happens. This is my experience with these relationships. So how do you unhook and you untether is you make a choice that you're ready to learn. You make a choice that you're ready to rewrite your love blueprint, that you're ready to, I'm ready to allow my power. I'm really ready to allow myself to be seen. I'm ready to learn in a different way. And so it becomes the end of a cycle, right? It becomes the end of a contract that a way of cycling and looping that you would rework for a long time. And they forever leave a scar, right? It's like they took a chunk out of your skin that you're never going to get back. And I think that's just the truth of it. It is kind of like that experience where you lose someone, right? You lost an aspect of yourself. And these types of relationships, the really karmic spiritual relationships, are often really, really tough to like really stay in contact, right? Because it's really, really painful, right? It's really painful. And they kind of take a chunk out of you that you just never quite get back. And that's just the practicality of it. So when you say, how do you untether and unhook? I think you just make a different choice, but I don't think you really ever get over it, to be honest. I know that's kind of maybe not the answer that you want to hear, but I think that's the fucking truth. So the next question is, I get that we're here to heal the things in this lineage, so perhaps it makes to let them go. They're referring to the ancestors. Do you not need your ancestors for guidance, seeing as your soul chose this lineage? So basically what this person's asking is, do you like, why do we want to get rid of the ancestors? I talk a lot about kind of telling your ancestors to fuck off at a certain point, to dominating the ancestors so that they're submissive and they actually leave the body. And so this person's asking, well, don't we want to hold on to them because they're a part of us and they help to inform? And so the answer to this question is yes, we do want to get rid of our ancestors. We don't want to hold on to them. And I'll explain this. There's a lot of like light workers, a lot of really empathetic people. Someone is not really connected to sacred rage. When I say sacred rage, what I really mean is wild, unhinged, sacred life force energy. So when I say sacred rage, it's wild, unhinged, sacred life force energy. Think of like kind of like an erupting volcano, but it's divine energy, like it's divine energy. So many spiritual people don't have this energy, right? They're very, very contained, which really what that means is they have a lot of ancestral energy still in the field. They haven't told their ancestors to fuck off or to take a hike yet. They're still holding the ancestors in the field. And what these people feel like is they feel really, really contained. They don't have this gang sort of energy. They're not really connected to their rage and their anger in a really, really healthy way. And a lot of people in the spiritual space see kind of anger and like rage as this, anti-spiritual sort of emotion that, oh my God, it's not attractive to be angry. But what that means is you're holding on to your ancestors. So you can't be in sacred rage or unhinged divine energy until you clear your ancestors from your field. So, and a lot of people hold unconscious loyalties that I don't want to tell my ancestors to fuck off. What that really means is they're afraid of their power. That's really, really what it means. And so, and a lot of people are like this, that are really empathetic, really sensitive. They're like that energy sort of scares them, and they don't understand why that's necessary. And so what that means is the ancestors are still holding on. The ancestors are still hooking into them, which means that we're replaying karma to some degree because the ancestors are hooking into us, right? And so what happens, rage, the energetics of sacred rage of great grandmother, fuck off. Great grandmother, clear my space. That energy is sending the ancestors out. It's burying them in the earth. And then what happens is they recalibrate and they reintegrate with our body. What happens is they now support us from the underworld. They now support us from underneath the earth, right? They now support us from underneath the earth. But what happens when we haven't used the elements of sacred rage to clear the ancestors? The energy's all up here, right? The ancestors are camping out here and they want to come down here. So what happens is you clear the ancestors from your field. They're kind of at your feet. They're at your feet saying, Jamie, we support you on your mission. We support you. And you honor them, right? You're carrying aspects of so much of what they gave you, as their suffering of what they were not able to do now becomes infused in your mission, right? But you're not subservient to them. So when the ancestors are up here, it means they still feel like they have to protect you, which ultimately means the ancestors don't trust you. When the ancestors begin to move through your body and move down into the earth, they're saying, Jamie, I trust you. I am willing to let go of this sacred protection because you are now the Holy One. You are now into this space where I can reintegrate and recalibrate and support you without hooking into you. So when the ancestors are protecting us, they're also trapping us. They're also containing us. They're also keeping us in different sort of ancestral flows of karma, sort of ancestral trappings, right? And so sacred rage, this element of get out of my space, energetic boundaries, I am going to step into my power. When the ancestors feel that you're powerful enough, they leave. When we're holding onto a lot of energy, it means the ancestors are looking at you and they don't think you're powerful enough for them to leave. They also don't trust you. This is why when you really, really clear the ancestors from your field, there's a swagger. There's kind of like, you can't fuck with me, motherfucker. And people are like, oh my God, that's so arrogant. It's actually God. It's actually what happens when the field is cleared of ancestral energy. You're just really, really clear on your energy. So now what you've done is you've actualized your energy. You've been able to recalibrate aspects of your energy in your field that you may have lost. And so the totality of the energy that you can now access is of the divine realm. Your container is massive. The ancestors are always trapping, right? They're always trapping the container and trapping the field. When you leave them, the crown bursts open because the ancestors always enter through the crown. So when the crown is opening, it means the ancestors are leaving. That's why the crown is opening, because the ancestors are saying to you, I trust you enough, Jamie. You are powerful enough. You will now lead the way. And then they start to leave. So we 100% want to clear the ancestors from our field. We want to get rid of every single fucking unconscious loyalty that we have, because what the divine is, you guys, is the divine is creating. The divine is creating from a space that has never existed before. We are creating something that is unprecedented for the entire lineage. And when we still have the ancestors in our field, they are trapping us, they are containing us, and we're not free. We're not completely free in the space until the ancestors leave. There's a speakeasy underneath the earth. There's this bar that the ancestors want to go to. They want to be able to hang out, drink. They want to be able to run amok with the other lineage. The paternal, maternal ancestors want to be able to connect together. They want to be able to find this space where they're basically watching you on big screens and rooting for you. Jamie, do it. Do what I wasn't able to do. Do what the repression of the entire lineage held on to. We weren't able to free ourselves. You are the disruptor. You are the ancient ripple in the realm that is going to create something that has never existed before. And so the ancestors leave your field, and this is where everything, guys, bursts the fuck open. You think about the possibilities for your life, they're endless. You can create anything. You can create it with your bare hands right here, right now. You trust your capacity to take action and be able to execute, but you're working from a holy compass. You're working with the guidance of the 12D and executing in the 3D. The field is clear, right? This is why when you look out at the horizon, it's endless. The horizon is endless and there's nothing containing your field. People are terrified of this. People are terrified because what it feels like, you guys, is you're on your own island. You're all by yourself in the dark. You're floating in this endless abyss, in this ancient stratosphere where there's no one around you. There's this inherent sort of loneliness about this space. We're afraid to be here. But what happens as you take that leap? What happens as you move into that energy is the dark is all of a sudden lit the fuck up. What you anticipated before you took the leap was a really dark space that was going to suck you and enclose you and steal your life force, that you would die, that you wouldn't be able to make it out alive. But when you take that leap in that space, wherever you're afraid of in your life, to the thing that's going to make you free, all of a sudden you begin to light it up from the inside out. Your channel, your vessel becomes this literal embodiment of God energy, of source frequency. This is when you really become the oracle in your life. What you're doing is you're moving with your channel, which is lit up like everescence coming from every cell and seam as you move in this space. And little cords and threads are revealed to you. Little sort of ancient secrets and ripples in space are always revealed to you. Jamie, come this way, follow this cord or thread, and you learn to trust this process, you guys. You learn to trust this process because you have evidence of how sort of this energy in the divine works. At first, before we take the step, we can't quite trust it. We don't have enough evidence. What will happen? That I'll be stuck out alive, that I'm going to be trampled, I'm going to be killed, I'm going to be guillotined, I'm going to be hung and burned at the stake if I take this leap. And then we get an experience of evidence, this somatic evidence, where we take that step and we see the fruits of that faith. We see the fruits of that trust. Everything lights up. The crown is opening. Possibilities are endless. You feel so free. It's like the chains and the shackles of the karmic lineage have been taken off your feet and your hands, and you're able to fly finally. You're able to move. But the thing is that you're actually so grounded here. You're so completely grounded in this space. It's like you're shooting down to the center of the earth and reaching up to the heavens at the same time. This is what it means to bring spirituality to earth. It's a duality of this upward ascension, this downward descent, and both are working together. Both are working together. The descent is a clearing, the ascent is a merging. When energy is moving down, it means things are integrating and clearing. When energy is moving up, it means all the forces, all the fields, all the channels are beginning to merge and connect together. And this is where we have that sort of ancient glow. When you look at someone's face, like they kind of got like a universal secret. It's like, what's going on in this person's space? They're tapped into something. There's something that's being revealed to them. It's kind of like what happens, you guys, as you begin to play this whispering sort of secret with God and the universe, as you tap into this paradigm in this new realm where you're constantly just revealed secrets because your whole channel is completely receptive. That's when the crown is totally open. The crown is totally open and you're in this space of total receptivity. Total receptivity. What are you going to reveal to me? What are you going to show me? What are you going to bring into my space? And God knows this, that you're totally wide open. You're this blank canvas that is ready to be bestowed and to allow this energy to move through them like a vessel. And you exist in this exchange where what you're doing is you're giving God your trust, saying, God, I trust you. I'm going to fully follow what you tell me. I'm going to give you my light. I'm going to give you my mission as a man. I'm going to give you my radiance as a divine feminine being. I'm going to give you my gift. And you engage in this very reciprocal sort of circuit relationship with source energy, where he keeps revealing secrets after secret every single day that are bestowed in your body because you've gotten out of your own way. The crown is all about allowing, you guys, that I will allow something to be revealed. I will allow something of the holy space to take place. I will allow this holy energy to come into my body and effuse every cell and seam as I move into a new paradigm and frequency. And I will work my mission in accordance with you. I will walk the path of this holy mission of what I need to do, and it's reciprocal. It's give and take, give and take. As a man, you get the code. As a man, you get the code. What happens is you have the capacity as a man to open up places with your body, with the energy that moves through you. Think of the divine masculine. It's like a very penetrative rocket ship. His body, his embodiment is energy is shooting down like a rocket that is blasting off to earth. You know what happens when a rocket takes flight? The energy comes down and it moves up. The same that happens when we ascend. The energy like that. That's why a rocket is a really, really great example of what happens when a man moves into his divine masculine. His channel is precise. He's got this container that can fuel and descend and ascend the energy, and it's like truth, right? It's like truth taking flight. When a man comes into his code, he opens every single space with truth, with authenticity that is so fierce. People who aren't ready to feel this code are going to get afraid. People who aren't meant to come alive in this lifetime, it's going to make them sweat. Holy shit, what's going on here? This is confronting. This is, they're too much. They're too much. Guess what? God is too much. God is explosive. God doesn't give a fuck. God is just unhinged, unfiltered, unfettered, life force energy that is bursting from your seams. But we're terrified of this. We're terrified to feel. What happens if I feel just how much I'm capable of feeling? It's going to squash me. It's going to kill me. It's going to turn people away. Yes, it is going to turn people away. It's going to turn people away who are afraid of themselves. When we come into God and the divine, we become a free soul that is able to live in the transmission of the Spirit moving through us. You see it on our face like this holy light that is lighting us up from across a room. Again, we're tapped into the secrets. Like we have this homeboy relationship with God. We don't have to sit at the mat and pray or be at the shrine or go to church. Every morning we just say, today I'm going to allow. Today I'm going to allow something to come through my space. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to resist what is coming through my space right now. I'm just going to surrender and allow every inch of it to move through me. That's what it means to create a relationship with God, is that we don't fight ourselves. We allow every inch of ourselves to be receptive to the totality of the power that we're able to access. The crown, you guys, is all about allowance. How much of you are you willing to allow? How much of you are you willing to allow to fully inhabit your space? That's why we see the possibilities for our life run proportional to how open or closed the crown is. When the crown is closed, what we say is, I'm going to live in shackles. I'm going to live in fear because I'm afraid of the freedom horizon of the endless meadow. What happens in that space? Like, how do I hold on to something? It feels like we're floating in the abyss. But again, that's the leap. The leap and the lesson is that when we take that leap and we root to the earth, something magical can be planted within our body. And we learn we can be at home anywhere, endlessly, inside of ourselves. That home is not a place, but an endless, infinite experience within ourselves. And we're able to root down and ascend upwards simultaneously. How much of yourself are you willing to allow? How much of yourself do you want to allow in this lifetime? Most of us go through our entire lives never really allowing ourselves to live. And it's usually only through the confrontation of death do we ever allow ourselves to live. What happens when we have a spiritual experience on earth is we die while living. And We build up this alchemical process in our body of learning how to die and shed skin and open and be rebirthed endlessly and constantly, which means all we're doing is we're constantly birthing more and more life into our body and our frame. We have this endless capacity in our body to move energy to constantly be reborn. This is really what it means to become an oracle. You allow your body to exist in these endless cycles of death and rebirth. Most people always sit on the edge, right? They sit on the edge that they're afraid, if I fully take that step, I'm afraid to take that step and meet my demise. The identities, the fears, the attachments, the parts of ourselves of comfort that we cling on to. We're afraid that there's something wrong with us. We're not worthy of this. We'll be abandoned, or we're going to outshine other people. That we're going to be so fucking bright, it's going to blast people and turn people off. Yes, it is. You're going to turn people off. You're going to turn people away. And so most people sit at the edge of the shore, anticipating this threat for their entire life. If I take that step, we just run through this endless sort of mind chatter of games of things that are going to go wrong, because we have this association that the universe is not a safe place. The universe is a dangerous place. That the universe doesn't have our back. And so we stay on the shore. We don't trust the waves and energy and the alchemical poetry of how the waves work of the open ocean. So we stay clinging to shore and never really having lived or taken a shot, or most importantly, never really having fully experienced ourselves. And as you take that leap and you move into the open ocean, what you thought was going to be your greatest demise was a death in many ways, but it was also the most spiritually liberated birth of your life. And now what happens is you're no longer afraid. So what happens, you guys, with freedom runs proportional to the amount that we're afraid. When we can't be free, it means there's a disproportional amount of fear that the body's holding. When we learn to become totally free, what it means is we go through these experiences in the body where we meet our demise endlessly. We're no longer afraid. We're not afraid to die. We become unfuckwithable. We can just sit in our own energy and be, this is me. This is me, who I am. I'm going to take up space in this. I'm going to allow my light to shine. Because we've already experienced the death of all deaths. The spiritual death, the greatest death. We've already shed our skin like these sacred rivers rushing out to the ocean endlessly, time and time again, so we're no longer afraid. In this, possibilities become infinite. The unknown becomes a holy space, this magical place where our body can create like this blank canvas in the tapestry of the sky with our own energy. We can create whatever we want with our bare hands because we're no longer afraid. Even if we have fear, we understand the transmission of fear and how we're able to hold fear in the body to be able to move forward into a greater expansion. People are so afraid of people that are free. Because what it does is it brings up all our own fears. It brings up and shows us all the ways that we're trapped, all the ways that we're closed. And there's nothing worse than we want to see is someone living the representation of what we desire. As human beings, we all want to be free, but we're terrified of it. We're terrified of what happens if we fully feel the totality of our power. If we were to feel the totality of our power, what would happen? That we wouldn't be able to hold it. We fear that we wouldn't be able to hold it, that it'd be too much. You know what I think we're afraid of is that we might turn into fucking stardust. We might explode like this sort of ancient spiritual orgasm from every seam in our cell, and we'll turn to angel dust. We'll explode into the atmosphere. It's crazy, it might sound irrational, but I think that's what we're afraid of at some level. That it's going to be so big we won't be able to hold it. It's going to explode. But what we want to be able to do is allow our body to become a vessel. I kind of see it as you want to become a space like a rushing river, like a channel. that fuels and funnels energy into the oceanic universe and atmosphere. And so it's kind of like as energy and maybe glacier water is moving down the mountain, it kind of funnels into your channel, funnels into your river of rushing energy. And as it moves through your body, you become sort of this tributary that's creating and funneling and giving to this cycle of the greater oceanic atmosphere, your specific energy, feeding the ocean your specific sort of sauce. What makes you special? What makes you brilliant? And it creates this greater tapestry of universal intelligence as everything is sort of flowing together. And there's a space for all types of shape-shifting energy in the space. The ocean wants it all. The ocean wants to hold every different flavor of this water. Every different flavor of this energy has a space and sort of this greater shape, right? And so our bodies are these rushing rivers. Our bodies are these channels that funnels, holds energy, and gives to God. And the goal is being able to allow the Holy Spirit of energy to rush through us and to become our own river and tributary that feeds to the universe, that feeds to the greater ocean. And so there's a unique blend of source that wants to move through us with a specific mission, purpose, an offering, a radiance, an energetic imprint, an energy signature, things that we're going to create that are going to contribute to this greater oceanic space. And so we really get to experience the full flavor of who we are, right? And we feel confident enough, secure enough, unafraid enough because of the deaths that brought us here, that we can stand in the wide open space saying, this is my flavor. This is my specific energy signature. Take it or leave it. What it does, you guys, is it creates this absolute clarity for people. That's for me, it's not for me. You're giving people a real, clear, active choice of how they feel and respond to your presence. And what's happening is rejection feels different here because you're in such authenticity and integrity of source energy in your specific tapestry and that whole orchestration, that you can confidently be, this is who I am and this is who God intended me to be. I'm fully alive and embodied in my specific vibrant space and energy. Take it or leave it, this is who I am. And I know this river is contributing something of what I'm here to make, of what I'm here to create, of something that I'm meant to offer to the flow in this space, right? This is where you become magnetic. This is where people are drawn to you. There's something happening here. This person is so freely themselves, so allowing in the space. What it feels like, you guys, from a psychology standpoint, you're the innocent self and the ancient self. You're the oracle and the wounded, flawed little girl, little boy who never felt like they're enough, and they're participating equally. This is when you are both human and God. You're both, mortal and the divine. Your poetry, you're this endless creation of so many different things, because there's a complexity to all of us. We're not just one thing. But you're allowing the whole swirl to move through you and all the ingredients to be compiled in their own specific way. This is what we're afraid of. This is why we wear masks, why we put on false identities, why we, trade our truth for belonging. Because we're afraid to form something so distinct, right? We're afraid to form something so clear and so distinctly us. Because it's the ultimate exposure. You're saying, universe, this is who I am. I'm going to succeed or fail by this. But in a way, there is no failure with this because you're totally aligned with your vibrant energy that you are going to move into the most unique and authentic creation that you're meant for in this life. There's going to be an integrity that moves through you, this level of embodiment and authenticity that is undeniable. People in your space, and this person is undeniable in their authenticity. And what that creates is it creates curiosity or it creates repulsion. right? People are either curious and inspired by that, or they're turned off by that. It depends what their own specific purpose is in this lifetime. For people that are meant to know themselves and come fully awake and their own power, will turn towards that energy. They'll be inspired, they'll be uplifted by it. But if we're not, if we're repulsed by it, it might mean that we're still holding so much fear that we can't feel that level of freedom. The body can't hold it. The body doesn't know what to do with it. Maybe we're not meant to come awake fully. Maybe we're not meant to come awake yet. God is distinct. God lives as a distinction that is clear, that moves through all of us, right? You're a clear river, and you know how your channel flows. You know how your channel flows and moves, and what feeds the energy of the space, what turns you on and brings you alive, what your desires are. And you claim this. You take a piss in this space, say, this is me, motherfucker. This is who I am. This is what I'm about. I'm going to stake claim. I'm going to be this fearlessly and endlessly, and I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to plant my flag in the ground, and I'm going to lead my own army. Even if it's just an army of one, I'm going to lead it, and I'm going to lead it, and I'm just going to allow myself to fully feel my humanity while I'm alive. That I'm going to find heaven on earth. You're going to feel God in heaven in between your toes, all through your space. You don't have to wait till the end of your life to find salvation. You find it right now. You have the alchemical capacity to create it in every single moment. And it's undeniable. And it feels like this unhinged, sacred life force energy that is moving through your space. And people feel it. They feel life in the radiant glow, in the energy that channels through your body and space that is undeniable. What you want is you want people to feel more alive in your space, more inspired to be themselves, to move towards what makes them great, what they can create to make themselves their own distinction in the world. What can allow them to be their own distinct, clear embodiment of God through their own specific energy. We need all of us in our own specific ways to move together to contribute to the greater space. We become lighthouses, leading us home in the dark night, to move into that light space where endless possibilities to create are all around us. Anything is possible. It's not woo-woo or crazy false idealism. It's grounded of the earth, that we just trust the capacity to allow a message to be channeled through us. And the connection to the root allows us to bring this message to the earth. It doesn't sit up here idle in the atmosphere. It's able to find a home in the root. It comes from the crown through a message, comes all the way down into the root, into the earth, so we can create something tangible, something specific. Moving with higher dimensional frequencies, inspiration of different ancient realms through the process of creation. This is what happens when the ancient meets the human. This is what happens when heaven meets earth, when divine meets the mortal realm. It's not some place that we wait for the end of our life. We have it right here, right now. It's visceral and it's clear and it's ours for the taking. And what it feels like is we allow our freedom. We don't fight against our freedom. We allow our freedom so strongly. We say, I'm worthy of feeling free. I'm worthy of being free. I feel okay with others seeing the freedom in me. It's a big one. You allow your freedom to be lived on your face, to be shown through the softness of your body in the space. This is me. I'm free. I was able to free myself, and I will reveal it to you. This is my revelation. This is my declaration that I'm not going to live with parking brakes and holdings on the allowance of who I am. I'm just going to allow it to come through me. I trust in its divinity, its authenticity, its integrity, and you allow it just to exist. You allow it to exist, and this is where you really become a lighthouse, where the lost souls can find you in the dark night. there's something I can trust and follow. There's something that can inspire me and bring me closer home to ourselves. As Osho said, that we're always just trying to walk each other home. We do that through our own light, through showing our light and allowing our light to live so that others who need us can find us. You allow your freedom. This is why we're so afraid to see people who are free, because they're allowing themselves. They're not fighting themselves. And the majority of this human population is fighting themselves. And that's why they're not free. So this, you guys, is why human beings are afraid of their freedom. Thank you so much, everyone, for everyone who tuned in to this sort of transmission here, this space. And I would love for you guys just to subscribe to my channel, to like this video, to comment if there was anything that resonated for you, any little nuggets that stood out, anyone that was here even just for a moment viewing this, anyone who sees this at another point in time. I hope that this was able to help you in some small way, and wishing everyone a really great day, and sending love to everyone. And give this a like and give it a subscribe. Much love to everyone. And just so you guys know, I'm going to be going live every Monday and Friday at this same time. We were a little bit later today, but 12 p.m. Pacific, every Monday and Friday. It's going to range from just me lecturing on topics, to me answering people's questions, to me doing different transmissions like this, just whatever feels called in the space. Maybe I'll riff off one word, whatever's coming through. So why we're afraid of our freedom. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.